Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Faziatul Roziana binti Abdul Rahim. As the first presenter of the Group 6, will present to you about the developing a program philosophy and rational statement. The philosophy and rational statement for a school program known as a subject area curriculum or discipline. It must increase the ideology, vision, purpose, and mission of a school district, outcomes, and departure, which means graduation. Thus, the responsibility of the school administrator in charge of the curriculum to provide the destination and or path for growth and implementing a comprehensive curriculum for schools. The production of curricula for all disciplines includes the organization of a district-wide curriculum council meeting on a discipline, monthly basis during the year of education. Therefore, skilled workers in leadership roles should be part of the curriculum committee. For example, the curriculum director, building directors, department heads, team leaders, and others in leadership position. There are 4 steps of procedure for developing ELA programs or any school program. ELA means English Language Art. Step 1. The superintendent and board of education of the school district must approve the district-wide curriculum creation process. These are the rest of the main points for step 1. Number 2. An ELA program committee consists of ELA teachers from all grade levels K to 12, 2 teachers from each grade levels who are appointed by the Curriculum Council. Number 3. However, only 1 teacher per 3 grade or course levels is satisfactory in smaller districts with reviews from those teaching the other grade or course levels. Number 4. In smaller districts, the cooperative could employ a curriculum director to lead this process. A cooperative is a group of school districts that work together cooperatively towards mutual goals. Number 5. This approach to curriculum development should be assisted by co-op superintendents. Number 6. Superintendents, building directors, and teachers in the content field is to see the importance of obtaining feedback from other cooperative teachers and promote the concept of a common program in cooperative schools. Number 7. Distance learning courses, for example, international languages, will benefit from a leader of the co-op curriculum to help schools set up a similar curriculum. Number 8. The standard curriculum, including the textbook, would provide much more flexibility for co-op schools to create a timetable. Number 9. Members of the committee must also be, first, building directors or assigned from elementary, second, middle or junior high school, third, senior high school, preferably with 1 principal or designee from each level. Number 10. The director or designer of the school district curriculum serve as chairman and be responsible for coordinating and guiding the activities of the program committee. 11. The Board of Education of the school district should be told by the Board Curriculum Committee about the process used for program curriculum development. Number 12. All members of the ELA Program Committee must have a comprehensive understanding of the ideology, vision, purpose, and exit graduation results of the school district and enable committee members to blend them into the philosophy and national statement of the ELA program. 13. In creating a program theory, the conversation method, the Delphi technique, the fishbowl technique, the Telstar technique, or the nominal group technique may be used to direct the ELA program committee. 14. The number of ELA curriculum committee meetings to complete the task of writing the theory of a program should be reduced to 3 or 4 during the academic year. Last, in other words, comfortable work chairs, circular seating arrangements, tables with space for participants to separate their papers out, and good acoustics. The curriculum meetings should be held in a comfortable setting. It is important to make name tags for the participants by folding a piece of paper so that it stands on its own. Now we move to the other steps of procedure for developing ELA program or any school program. Step 2. Give it to the ELA staff and building managers in the school system for their feedback immediately after completion of the ELA curriculum philosophy. The building should arrange grade and department level meetings. Principals need to look in depth the theory of the program produced by the committee. Step 3. To adapt to the changes, corrections, and or deletions suggested by non-committee ELA staff and administrators, the original ELA program committee should be reconstructed. Step 4. The theory of the completed ELA curriculum is now eligible for review by the school superintendent and board of education. That's all, and my friends will continue our group presentation.
Assalamualaikum to Prof. Hairudin and all my friends. Today I will present my part, which is developing a scope and sequence and program goals. Grant Wiggins noted that to help all students reach high standards, educators need to ask what level of performance is required for mastery. To develop a scope and sequence, program goals, objectives, learning outcomes, and authentic tasks for any school program, a subject area writing committee must be established. So I will give the steps for structuring the committee along with its responsibilities. So the first step, the writing committee is selected by and from the program committee members. It must be made up of teachers representing all grade levels, preferably 2 staff members from each grade grouping primary, intermediate, middle level or junior high school and high school. In smaller school districts, 1 teacher per 3 grades or course level is satisfactory as long as there is feedback from those teaching the other grade or course levels. A building principal or designee from elementary, middle level, or junior high school and senior high school must be represented on the committee. The school district's curriculum director or designee should serve as chairperson and be responsible for organizing and directing the activities of the writing committee. The school district's board of education must be apprised of the process used to write curricula by the board curriculum committee. The writing committee workspace must be in a comfortable environment, which is comfortable worksheets, tables to spread their papers out on, good acoustics, access to the district's curriculum lab containing sample course of study and program textbooks and clerical assistance. The ideal time to develop and write the program scope and sequence is after the school year is complete. 1 week to 10 days is a normal timeline for writing committee to complete the writing exercise for a program or subject area. Reasonable stipends or an extended contract should be given to members of the writing committee. All writing committee must understand and be able to write meaningful program goals and objectives. The dialogue technique should be used to guide the ELA writing committee. So, for step 2, after the program scope and sequence, program goals, objectives, learning outcomes, and authentic tasks have been written, they must be distributed to all ELA teachers and building administrators throughout the school districts for additions, corrections, and or deletions during the school year. Teachers and administrators should be given 4 to 6 weeks to return the document to the curriculum director or designee. During the 4 to 6 week district-wide review period for the program scope and sequence, objectives, learning outcomes, and authentic tasks, grade levels, and department meeting at the building level must be utilized to peruse the document. Members of the writing committee should be used as consultants to provide clarification at the grade levels and the department meetings. And then we go to the step 3. Okay, after receiving the corrected program documents from district-wide, non-committee ELA grade and course level teachers and administrators, the curriculum director or designee must reassemble the writing committee to consider the additions, corrections, and or deletions suggested. Okay, then for step 4, after the ELA program course of study, or we call it curriculum resource guide, is complete with suitable addition, correction, or deletion suggested, the document should be given to the school superintendent and the school board curriculum committee for presentation to the Board of Education for district-wide adoption and implementation. Now we go to the step 5. Once the ELA program course of study is adopted, a textbook review committee encompassing members from the ELA writing committee is selected by that committee. Membership must include one person representing each grade and course level. Using a similar textbook selection guide, members of the textbook review committee must evaluate and rank for their grade level each ELA series from the various publishing companies. The entire ELA staff should consider for review the 3 highest ranked textbook series selected by the textbook review committee. The ELA program scope and sequence, program goals, learning outcomes, and authentic tasks should be submitted to the 3 highest ranked publishing companies selected by the textbook review committee for their review and presentation to district-wide ELA staff. The presentations by the 3 selected publishing company representatives should be scheduled during the school year, preferably with no more than 1 presentation each day. All ELA staff and school principals must be invited to attend. Voting rights are granted only to those who attend all 3 presentations by the publishing company representatives. The textbook series preferred by a majority of staff in the ELA program must be submitted with rationale for the selection and cost to the district, to the school superintendent and the school board curriculum committee for presentation to the school board for adoption. Then, for step 6, appropriate in-service activities must be planned for the ELA staff to accommodate the newly developed ELA course of study. Some in-service activities may need to take place before the program is implemented, and some should take place after teachers have implemented the program. And then the last step, which is the step 7, evaluation of the ELA program must be an ongoing process, and in-flight correction should be made until the next 5-year cycle. The curriculum director should have expertise in program evaluation. The step-by-step process should be used to develop a course of study or curriculum resource guide for all programs in the public schools. Okay, now we go to the program goals. The program goals is to develop the knowledge, skills, and process needed to communicate effectively by listening, speaking, reading, writing, viewing, and representing. So for the exit outcomes, make a purposeful thinker, which use strategies to form concepts, make decisions, and solve problems. Applies a variety of integrated process, including critical and creative thinking to accomplish complex tasks. And for a self-directed learner, it directs own learning, and it sets well-defined goals and manages the process of achieving them. Acquires, organize, and use information, initiates learning activities in the pursuit of individual interests, applies technology to specific tasks, applies realistic self-appraisal in selecting the content, method, and pace for learning, integrates knowledge and skills in both familiar and new situations. And the third, as it outcomes, make an effective communicator which conveys message through a variety of methods and materials, adapts message to various audience and purpose, engage the intended audience to understand and respond, receive and interprets the communication of others. And the fourth one is a responsible citizen, which understands diversity and interdependence of people in local and global communities, demonstrates a respect for human difference, make informed decisions, exercise leadership on behalf of common good.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Shazrin binti Abadi from Group 6. So I will continue my group presentation with the title Procedure for Developing Learning Objectives and Learning Outcomes and Authentic Tasks. Okay, these three elements must be correlated with the district philosophy, vision, mission, and exit outcomes with the program's philosophy and rational statement. Next, we move to taxonomy of thinking. So the first one, knowledge. Second, comprehension. Third, application. Fourth, analysis. Fifth, synthesis. Sixth, evaluation. All right, this taxonomy of thinking must be linked with our implementation of curriculum. Next, we move to learning objectives. Okay, what is learning objectives? Okay, learning objectives is to describe specific discrete units of knowledge and skill. All right, it is useful during the 1970s and 1980s when attempts were made to describe workplace activities as specific tasks to be completed. The third one, accomplished within a short time frame. Okay, relevant for a class period. Of course, we have learning objectives in our daily lesson plan. All right. So next is tend to be statements of intent. Before we want to create an objective, we must first consider the 5 aspects of objective. What is that? Of 5 elements. What is that? Is SMART. S is for specific, M is for measurable, A is for attainable, R is for relevant, and T is for time bound. Okay, what is the meaning of specific here? Specific meaning to say the course objective, okay, should be written with specificity whenever possible, because it helps the students to understand what exactly is expected from them. Okay, next is measurable. Measurable here meaning to say use action verbs that you want the students to be able to do after or at the end of the lesson. Okay, for example, to write, to list out, to list, to sing, all right? So that is measurable. What is attainable? Attainable here considers students' backgrounds, experiences, prior knowledge, skills, interests, and personal goals and behaviors. So we, as teachers, will be better at writing objectives that are realistic and achievable to those students. For example, we know we have the weak students in our class. So the objective must be attainable for the pupils to attain, all right, to achieve. Okay, relevant. Okay, relevant here meaning to say objective should be consistent with the purpose of the course. Okay, just like being attainable. Okay, the objective should clearly focus on the end result. Right. T, time bound. Okay, time bound here, of course, we can explain it in the form of dates, weeks, or points in the semester. Okay, time bound may also describe the conditions under which some performances will be assessed. Next is learning outcomes. Okay, learning outcomes here is to describe broad aspects of behavior which incorporate a wide range of knowledge and skill. Right. The second one, learning outcomes increased use in the 1990s when workplace requirements involve broader skill sets which are transferable to a wide range of work settings. The third one is learning outcomes accomplished over time in several learning experiences. Okay. The fourth one, refer to demonstration of performance. Now we move to comparison between learning objectives and learning outcomes. Okay, in the blue box there is the examples of learning outcomes and authentic tasks for an ELA. What is in an ELA? Okay, ELA is English Language Arts Program. Okay, so there is the objective. Okay, the 1.1 students will be able to identify reasons for communicating. And the primary grade students will be able to do the following. Okay, 1.1.1, recognize why they are communicating. Okay, and the authentic task there, students will express feelings, solve problems, or confirm the meaning of a message. All right, so in the orange box there, so that is the example of learning objectives for English Language Year 4 CEFR. Okay, in the Malaysian context, we use this type of content standard, a learning standard, and learning objective. Okay, for example, there, content standard 2.2 is for the skill of speaking. All right, so 2.2 is use appropriate communication strategies. The complementary there is 1.2. 1.2 is for listening skill. All right, 1.2 meaning to say here, understand meaning in a variety of familiar contexts. Okay, so the learning standard there, main skill is 2.2.1. It is more focused for learning standard. Okay, so 2.2.1 is keep interaction going in short exchanges by using suitable words to show understanding, and B is to ask for clarification. All right, so what about the complementary there? So the complementary skill there is 1.2.5, understand longer supported questions. So what is the learning objectives of the lesson? So the main objective of the lesson is at the end of the lesson, pupils will be able to keep the interaction going by asking questions about their friend's chosen recipe. So that is the main objective in the lesson. What is the complementary objective? Okay, at the end of the lesson, pupils will be able to listen and write at least 3 ingredients correctly. Okay, next is authentic tasks. Okay, each program goal should list a wide variety of resources accessible to the teachers to help the students accomplish the outcomes. Okay, for example, the authentic materials there, examples are including textbooks, textbook activities, novels, non-fiction books, anthologies, collections, handbooks, and dramas. So these authentic materials can be used in the lesson. Selected readings from reserved material in the library or classroom, printed handouts, kits, periodicals, transparency sets, video recordings, audio recordings, and computer software.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I shall continue the methods for choosing teachers representation. Okay, basically there's two techniques. Okay, one is dialogue techniques and one namely the Delphi techniques. The dialogue techniques involving the debating or orally discussion. Okay, participant has to be in the discussion, or meaning that the participants have to be face to face. Okay, the participants do not deal with the content until they are in the actual meeting or in the actual process of the decision making. Okay, this technique is good because the participants have opportunity to listen to others, to their ideas, whether it's being accepted or rejected. Okay, the ideas will be reviewed and will be discussed. Okay, and then this technique also gives the participant chances to acquire ownership of group product. Okay, next is Delphi techniques. Okay, this techniques is very contradict with the dialogue. Okay, so if the dialogue, we have to be in the meeting, the participants have to be in the meeting and be face to face, but Delphi techniques, okay, the participants only have to write down their philosophy statement and they have to submit it to the curriculum director. Okay, then the director will make a copies and distribute the statement. Okay, all the members will get the statement and review the ideas and choose the best one. Okay, the most agreed one. The administration will divide into two columns, the one that the most agreed and the one general agreement didn't found. Okay, the most agreed one will be resubmit again to all the members and will be reviewed again. This process will be keep repeating until consensus is reached. Okay, now there's 5 methods for choosing teachers representative. Okay, I shall explain when each method is recommended to be practicing. Okay, the suitable situation. Okay, each method can be used. Okay, the first one is voluntary. Okay, voluntary volunteer, as we can say that we know volunteer means willing. Okay, willing to step up. So it is a okay. Now there's 5 methods for choosing teachers representative. Okay, I shall explain when each method is recommended to be practicing. Okay, the suitable situation. Okay, each method can be used. Okay, the first one is voluntary. Okay, voluntary volunteer, as we can say that we know volunteer means willing. Okay, willing to step up. So it is a democratic methods. Okay, it's suggested to use when everyone is acceptable. Okay, second one is rotation. Okay, in this method, each season, meaning that every season the representative will change. Okay, it can be used as long as the membership didn't bother the process or the development of the curriculum. Okay, the third one is involvement. Okay, the most competent one in the group will be chosen as the representative. Okay, that is the involvement. Okay, the fourth one is peer selection. Okay, peer selection is for the specific group only. Okay, can be practicing for group that have maturity and experience. Okay, the only certain members can use these methods. Okay, and then the last one is administrative selection. Okay, this is the last methods. Okay, it will be used only when the peer selection is not working. Okay, and then administrative can use their veto to choose the representative. Okay, so now we have choose the representative for our group. Okay, now we are going to make the decision making. Okay, there's a few techniques here. There's 3 techniques. Okay, the first one is fishbowl techniques. Okay, fishbowl techniques. Okay, subgroup of 6 or 8 participants meet and they will develop the philosophy statement. Okay, after they develop the statement, okay, each group will choose their representative. Okay, and then this representative from each subgroup will sit together in the circle like the fishbowl. Okay, and we'll start discuss to find the best statement. Okay, while they are facing one another in the. Okay, so now we have choose the representative for our group. Okay, now we are going to make the decision making. Okay, there's a few techniques here. There's 3 techniques. Okay, the first one is fishbowl techniques. Okay, fishbowl techniques. Okay, subgroup of 6 or 8 participants meet and they will develop the philosophy statement. Okay, after they develop the statement, okay, each group will choose their representative. Okay, and then this representative from each subgroup will sit together in the circle like the fishbowl. Okay, and we'll start discuss to find the best statement. Okay, while they are facing one another in the circle, the others members will remain outside the circle. Okay, they will discuss until found the best statement. Okay, then the next technique is the Telstar techniques. Okay, Telstar techniques is the procedure is quite same with the fishbowl technique, but what I can tell is Telstar technique is more specific. Okay, the subgroup representing each subgroup representing specific grade or level, such as they represent this subgroup is from the secondary school, primary school. Okay, they present their according to their grade and level. Okay, and then they build the philosophy statement, but this time in Telstar there will be 2 representatives from each subgroup. Okay, while the fishbowl is only 1 selected from each subgroup. Okay, the representative may be accompanied by an advisory committee from their constituency. Okay, this advisory has rights to interrupt in the discussion. Okay, they also need to sit in the circle like the fishbowl. Okay, this process continue until general consensus among all is reached. Okay, and then last but not least, the techniques of the nominal group techniques. Okay, this technique is once the task of developing a program of philosophy is explained by the curriculum director. Okay, the group members are given a task. Okay, given time 20 to 30 minutes, during with each individual will write down a program philosophy. Okay, So this technique is working on individually. Okay, they are giving a task and a periods of time. Okay, after the time has expired, okay, the community members present the program philosophy that um, they write. Okay, they build what is their idea. Okay, they will present individually. Okay, no discussion or of alternative philosophies take place until all program philosophies have been disclosed. Okay, so there's no interaction with each participant. Okay, following disclosure, community members rank the program philosophies presented and start the process again. Okay, considering the top 3 program philosophies. After individual community members have choose and modified one of the 3 program philosophies, the community selects one to adopt as a program philosophy. Okay. This technique is not the best one. Okay, this advantage of the process is that during the initial brainstorming, no interaction exists for one idea to inspire another. Okay, however, because community members know that each member is developing a program philosophy and that everyone's philosophy will be displayed. Okay, the competitive pressure established impetus.
Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to Prof. Hairudin and to my fellow friends. So I will proceed to the last part of the presentation, which is the procedures of program development. Okay, before I go to the steps that you have to take in program development, I want to introduce to you about the outcomes-based education by Spady 1994. This education have 4 principles, which is the first one, clarity of focus. Next is designing down. The third principle is high expectations. And the fourth is expanded opportunities. As for the first principle, clarity of focus, it means that everything teachers do must be clearly focused on what they want students to know, understand, and be able to do. For the second principle, which is designing down, it means that it must start with a clear definition of the intended outcomes that students are to achieve by the end of the program. Then, the third principle is high expectations. Teachers should establish high, challenging standards of performance in order to encourage students to engage deeply in what they are learning. And the last but not least is the fourth principle, expanded opportunities. Teachers should expand, which means given more opportunities for students to take part in the lessons and also in their learning, because not all learners can learn the same thing in the same way and in the same time, which means the teacher should also consider on how the student preferred learning styles and also that it suit to their level. Why I introduce to you about the OBE? Because our model that we use in program development, which is design down and deliver up model, have related to the OBE that I explained earlier. So in design down deliver up model, so as you can see from the diagram here, there are few steps which happen in 2 stages. The first part is design down. It starts with the learner exit outcomes, and then after we had find the outcomes, we proceed to the program goals, and after we find the program goals, we go to the objectives, and also next one we go to learner outcomes. After all the outcomes, goals, objective, and the exit outcomes that we had find out, we will come out with the authentic tasks. There are different types of authentic tasks, and my friends had discussed earlier about all these terms. After that, we go to the next stage, which is the deliver up, in which the teacher will deliver the lesson, we implement the curriculum to the students. Okay, based on the authentic tasks, it will come up with the learner's outcomes. What do the teachers can identify from his or her lessons, and then after that they come up with the program objectives. After the program objectives, they also come up with the program goals. This is like kind of revision, revise the curriculum. And after that, the last step is learner exit outcomes. The two things that you need to consider and to be looked up is each program goals need to have the right variety of resources and also accessibility. In resources, there are, for example, textbook activities, novels, non-fiction books, and also so on and so forth, like I listed here, as you can refer. This resource will help especially the teachers in deliver their lessons. It provide the teachers with the guidelines that they need to follow, and also the materials that suitable to the objective or outcomes that they want the student to achieve. And next one is accessible. A list of inventory of materials available that lists where each is located, such as in the classroom, departmental media centers, and others. The resource must be accessible and must be fully used by the teachers. As the summary for these procedures, there are 4 things that I want to highlight here. The first one is the program, which is the curriculum development process. Described is a design down and deliver up model. The second one, samples provided of scope and sequence, program goal, objectives for the program goal, learning outcomes, and authentic tasks should enable a school district to develop a performance-based education program, which is the PPD. Next one, once a program is developed, teachers can easily develop unit plans and daily lesson plans for their students. Okay, this is like our rancangan pengajaran harian, our daily lesson plans. And the fourth points is developing a program course of study assures continuity of instruction across grade levels and hence allows a smoother transition from one grade level to the next, which is it is a roadmap for teachers and students in district. As for the conclusion for our presentation today, based on the discussion, the main points that we want to highlight here are our discussion today focus on these 4 scopes, which is the first one, steps in curriculum development. Second one, steps in curriculum implementation. Teacher involvement, which involves the different methods in involvement of teachers, and also the last part, assemble of actualized and effective curriculum. As for the step in curriculum development and implementation, the thing that I want to drag to your attention is the role of each of the constituents. Who are the constituents? They are the Board of Education, superintendent, school administrators, and also the teachers. As for the teacher involvement, why the teacher need to involve? Because it is very vital, it is very important for teachers to involve in curriculum implementation because they want to gain an adequate understanding of the ends and means. Every teacher system-wide should participate in curriculum development for his or her grade level and or disciplines. And the last part, which is a sample of actualized and effective curriculum that utilize the key elements shown below. So these are the simplified form that I want to share with you. But the first one is the recommended. After the recommended, we go for the written, which is we go for the draft of curriculum, and then for the supported materials, supported guidelines or any documents. Next is taught, which means the delivering of the knowledge, delivering of the lesson based on the curriculum. And next is tested, which means the assessment, different types of assessment that provide by the teachers to assess the students for their learnings and also understanding. And then after that, we can find out what are the students learn and what we can learn from the student and also the lesson that we deliver. Before we end the presentation, I want to share with you on what Scrum in 1961 states in referencing Newland's approach to curriculum development. He said that no curriculum program could succeed unless it had evolved to some extent from the thinking and involvement of teachers who were to apply it. And with that, I thank you.